He's in Oregon.
Recording has begun.
He's gonna find some Henry's Private Reserve.
Are you visiting,
All right.
Elvis's house?
We're being recorded.
The Parks Committee will come to order
Hello.
on Wednesday, August 16th? 16th, all right.
Yes, it is.
And we'll have a roll call. Alder Stoyer, are you present?
I am sure, sort of.
All right, excellent. Alder Eck,
I'm here.
Alder Campbell,
Here.
and Alder Weary. We are all present. Can I get an approval of the agenda?
Motion to approve?
Second?
Motion by Eck, second by Stevens to approve. Any changes?
Oh, Campbell. You just said Stevens.
Campbell. Alder Campbell.
Stephen
Yeah,
Campbell.
Stevens Campbell.
Yeah.
Details. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. Approval of the minutes, D.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Motion by Alder Eck, second by Alder Campbell to approve. Any changes there?
No.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. All right, everything tonight will go to recommendation from the committee. I'll go to full council next week on Tuesday. Number 1, consideration with possible action on updates to the budget and phasing plan for Farland Park.
Yeah, I'm
All
not
right,
sure
thanks,
about
guys.
this one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks guys.
James?
And, I'm gonna let, actually Corey's been so instrumental in kind of Farland Park and the planning of it, so she's gonna take this one.
All right.
Sounds
Okay, so this item was last discussed at the May 31st, 2023 Parks Committee meeting. At the time, you approved the park master plan. We also reviewed the budget and phasing plan at that meeting. Phase 1 was previously discussed, or as previously discussed, was to replace and relocate the playground and splash pad and basketball court. The total anticipated cost for these improvements is approximately $650,000. This funding will come from several locations. $250,000 was allocated in ARPA funding. $173,500 was allocated in 2022 Community Development Block Grant funding. And the remaining funding has not been approved yet and will need to be allocated in the city's 2024 bond request. Recently, the Community and Economic Development Department approached the city and stated they have additional 2022 and 2023 Community Development Block Grant funding available towards this project if we are able to meet the required timeline. The Redevelopment Authority originally allocated this funding towards other projects. These projects didn't pan out, so they are seeking alternative projects to proceed with. $250,000 is available in 2022 of the Community Development Block Grant funding that can go towards this project with the stipulation that the money must be spent by November 15th, 2023. If we cannot commit to spending this money within this time frame, they will have to select an alternate project to fund. They are not able to extend this timeline because of the requirements of the grant funding. At this point, it is too late to spend the money on a construction project. There is not enough time to complete the engineering, bid out the project, and get all of the work completed by mid-November. The only possibility to spend this money at Farland Park is to purchase materials for the project and have them delivered by November 15th. All of the previously approved Phase 1 materials for the splash pad and playground have already been ordered. The only items we would be able to add to the scope of work is to purchase kits for the proposed prefabricated restroom facility and open shelter. We would not be able to install these features with this 2022 funding. We could only purchase the materials. So tomorrow at the Redevelopment Authority will be discussing the approvals to purchase these materials with this Community Development Block Grant funding. What we are looking for today is the support of the Park Committee to add the restroom facility and open shelter to the scope of work for Phase 1. This committee will not approve the actual purchase. The Community and Economic Development Department has an additional $139,400 available in the 2023 funding. This will then be used to hire a contractor to install one or both of these new buildings. The deadline to spend this money is November 15th, 2024. There would be enough time to put this project out to bid and get it constructed over the next year. The purchasing department is currently in the process of quoting out these 2 buildings. To be honest, I'm not sure if there's enough time for any company to quote on these 2 buildings and have them delivered in our timeline. If no one quotes on it, then the $250,000 in available 2020 funding will go towards another initiative that the redevelopment authority will approve. We will not be able to use it in Farland Park. The Community and Economic Development Department, along with the RDA, has also set aside $50,000 in 2022 Community Development Block Grant funding towards adding artwork in this park. Within the neighborhood, they have selected Farland Park as it's the best fit for this funding due to the redevelopment project. The city's arts coordinator just issued an RFP for the art today. The Arts Commission and City Council will be the ones approving the selected RFPs. And again, we're only looking for approval from this committee to add this sculpture component to the scope of work for Phase 1. So with that, the motion for this would be to approve the updates to the budget and phasing plan for Farland Park. So
Thank you.
happy to answer any questions you might have.
Committee, Alder Eck?
Yeah, I just, because I just want to understand, so the original Phase 1 budget, up on top, this total funding of $653,500, excuse me.
Yes.
And then below, additional funding available, so that additional funding would come off of that 639? Or just so I understand how that's being applied.
Sure,
So-
yes. It is a bit confusing, and too, because the CD funding that we're spending in '23 was allocated in '22. So we're calling it '22 funding, but it has to be spent in '23. Then any of the '23 funding has to be spent in '24. And so with the original budget that was put together with the $650,000 for redevelopment for Phase 1, we had the $250 in ARPA. We had the $173,500 in the '22 funding, CD funding. And then we were going to bond in '24 for the remainder, approximately $230,000.
Do we still need to bond then?
Yes, we would need to bond
Okay.
for that. So, so since that, that kind of phasing and plan had been developed, since then, the redevelopment authority had this extra funding, so they found this 250 because it couldn't be used. So that's now in addition to our original scope and plan, I guess, for Phase 1.
Oh.
And then the $139,400 of the '23 funding that we can spend through '24, that's a new addition to that they allocated to us since we put together the initial budget. So now
So they're going to do more to the park than
Right.
that original
than
630?
originally,
Okay,
yes,
just so I-
because of the extra CD funding would allow us to kind of do what might have been Phase 2 or possibly Phase 3 sooner.
It'd been nice not to have to bond. But I guess that doesn't count. Huh?
I'm just going to make a comment on this.
Oh, you done, Alder?
Yes, I know.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
To add to your comment and clarify that, I want everybody to realize that this started at $1.2 million project, and I knew it probably didn't have a good chance. And if I want to remind everybody, when we all voted on it, we took that $650,000, we found other ways, Dan and everybody involved, and they did a really good job, if you remember, and it allowed for 4 or 5 more other projects to get done, like for the city, the planting of the trees and so on like that. So we scaled back. There was already playground equipment that was gonna get in the budget that was put in for years back as a replacement. So I mean, there was a lot of work done to make this happen in the first phase, let alone breaking the funding down into several different ways. So that was a lot of work, and I just want to compliment, like I made there, if we could do that to that kind of scope to a lot of the projects, we could get a lot done, but it took a lot of work, not a doubt. So adding to your thing, it's adding to the first phase of getting this done. This is nowhere near half the project. This is just to get the ground broke and to get that park started and on its way. You know, and sometimes a project like this comes together and now everybody wants to jump on board because we got a nice fresh look at it and let's keep going on it, you know, but it's, remember, it's sat for 16 years sitting there trying to figure out, kept running out of money.
You're back
So-
up to over $1 million.
It's,
No.
well, it's back up to whatever, and who knows what it's gonna cost by the time we're done, but it's a fresh new look to a park, you know, and all the other parks got fixed up and added, and this park is just like almost at the hatching stage of when it first got developed, and you know, it's gonna be a great thing to the neighborhood. It might even take over the other 2 parks that are in both directions, you know, and that'll be nice. And it looks so friendly, and you know, I like the idea that was added to it as the natural area of it, and the sitting around the water part for more than just kids to enjoy. I mean, I'm excited about it. I don't know if I can be on board for the finish yet, for sure. But I appreciate, I guess it pays to go to all the RDA meetings. Maybe they respect the fact I showed up at it. Thank you. You know, that it was
One more
nice for them to
tomorrow.
look out and add to the project, because that's the part that was missing, is the shelter. So, I mean, we're gonna have it all moved over, and we're gonna solve the parking problems and a lot of the other issues that happen there, but, and the art added to it is gonna add a lot. I'm excited. I didn't even read into the details of it all, but I knew it was kind of being juggled around yet, you know, and just wanna make sure that it keeps happening, and I'm gonna make a motion to accept everything that's moving forward and add it to this first phase of the project. Sound right?
All right, we have a motion by Alder Campbell to approve the request. Is there a second?
Yep, second.
Second by Alder Eck. Any discussion on that? Yeah, it looks good, you know, $1 million so far. That was an aye, or, well, we didn't vote quite yet, Alder Steuer. Did you want to speak to this?
Well, I just had one comment. I was listening to Corey talk a little bit about, you know, this project, and I believe in the project. I mean, it's been, as Alder Campbell mentioned, it's been going on for quite some time, and I think we've looked at this quite a bit. I guess I just wanted to know, and maybe it was answered, what needs to be bonded for? Or is there a number out there above and beyond what funding is there and what other departments are going to chime in for? Was there any number there saying what would need to be bonded for above and beyond?
Yes, so the plan was, and as of right now, still is to bond $230,000 in 2024, and that would be to complete what was originally part of, or what we called originally Phase 1, which would have been moving the basketball court, moving the splash pad, and moving the playground, and then stormwater management actually needs to happen for all of that to happen as well.
Okay. All right, well, to me, $234,000 is something to think about, but I think for the scope of the project and what's been going on, I'm glad I could hear Corey's statements and talk about this. I'm generally in acceptance of this. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Alder Steuer. Yeah, I would agree. You know, we have almost 1.1 million here, and the $230,000 we would borrow is leveraging almost $800,000 of federal dollars, right? That's the block grant and the ARPA money. So we're putting in a small sliver, and it's being matched. And it's a project that's been around almost as long as I have on the council. We've been talking about this since back with Alder Fredette when he was trying to redo the park. So it's good that it's finally getting here. You're getting basketball court, splash pad, playground, restroom facility, open shelter, and the sculptures in this phase. And it's good we're moving it up. So good job, everybody. Good teamwork. Any other comments? Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. All right. Thank you. Number 2, consideration with possible action on the request by Ducks Unlimited Incorporated to apply herbicide to the Phragmites located in the eastern managed wetland area at Ken Ewer's Nature Area. I know somebody who'd burn them for free. Her name may or may not be Kathy.
Burn the herbis,
Long story.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Ducks Unlimited, which has been a great partner with us, contacted the city and requested approval to apply herbicide to the Phragmites located in the eastern managed wetland area, Kenyers Natural Area. Since we have had minimal rain this year, this managed wetland area has been drier than normal, which has allowed the Phragmites to thrive a little bit more in these drier conditions. So Ducks Unlimited has a tentative budget for around $5,000 to complete this work. If approved, they would hire a professional herbicide contractor to do the spraying. And because this is a wetland, they will be required to get all the necessary permits from the DNR and apply the product using standard DNR wetland application processes. In addition, they will be allowed to use wetland-approved herbicides. This work will be done prior to the end of September in order for it to be effective. The selected contractor will be approved by the city prior to the start of the work, and the contractor will also be required to sign a hold harmless agreement in addition to providing adequate proof of insurance. We have allowed user groups to spray herbicides to the Phragmites at Kenyers in the past. Several years ago, we allowed the Bay Lake Regional Plan Commission approval to do similar work at Kenyers through a grant they received. So what we're seeking here today is to approve the request by Ducks Unlimited to apply herbicide to the Phragmites located in the eastern managed wetland area at Kenyers Natural Area.
Questions from the committee?
I've driven over that bridge next to that area for a lot of years. I mean, this is like trying to kill weeds in your lawn. No matter what you put on them, you kill them and they come back. Is this the way we just put up with it? You're never going to get rid of them. I mean, a couple of years ago, they mowed them all down and everything like that. They just come right back. But is this the way that they actually control it?
It is a technique that they use to actually help with the circumstances. And if you've been to Kenyers, I don't know how many years ago you went prior to going back,
Yeah.
but the Phragmites 5 years ago compared to what they are now, it's drastically different. It's a whole different place out there. So I've been working with Kenyers Nature Area for ever since I got to the city, and the transformation that Kenyers Natural Area is making right now, I would say that this is a good use of this opportunity.
Why not?
All right, any other discussion or questions? Alder Steuer?
Yeah, thank you, Alderwood. James, I was wondering, I know that this has been a project for some time in other areas of the city as well. Is there any worry that some of what they use, to control the Phragmites, the herbicide, would affect any other plants in the area? Or is it pretty much a tight science that they can stick just to what they want to eliminate?
Well, I'll say with, just from my experience working with the DNR, they're not easy to just make approvals if they don't agree with something that's being done. So I would say this is a very safe and effective way to manage Phragmites based on what, we believe they're doing. And we've done it in the past, hasn't shown any signs of affecting, any kind of wildlife or certain areas, in this situation. So we feel comfortable moving forward with this.
One other follow-up, just a quick follow-up. I was wondering if when these Phragmites are eliminated to the best of the ability there, will there be other native plants planted there, or what's thought of for that?
I mean, I know in the past they've done different native things like, wild rice and other things like that, but I don't think at this point there's any plan for, planting anything else, but I will say the native plants thrive after the Phragmites are, out of those areas. I would suggest anybody just to go out to Kenyers and look out at all the cattails and all the different, natural vegetation that's out there right now. That's essentially what we're trying to do again. Unfortunately, due to the lack of rain, the Phragmites had a little bit, they fought back a little bit on this eastern area that we're looking to spray. But yeah, there's no, natural vegetation will, naturally come back.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, well, thank you for that. That's all.
Alder Campbell?
It attracted some birds that haven't been here for 200 years.
Yeah. Apparently it tracks.
But maybe
The
that's what they
Phragmite
like,
does?
is the Phragmites. Just making a comment. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Any other questions, or
Motion to approve.
motion by Alder Eck to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alder Campbell. Any discussion on that? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, number 3, consideration with possible action on the purchase of a Toro Groundmaster 5910 mower from Reindeers for a total cost of $154,480.87. Reindeers? Say
Reindeers.
Rangers.
Details. Think of Christmas.
Yeah.
Director.
All right, this new 16-foot mower will be replacing Unit 102. It's a 2010 16-foot gang mower with about 7,000 hours logged. The current mower has exceeded its useful lifespan. The engine is using excessive amounts of oil and the hydraulic system is in poor condition. This was quoted by the purchasing department through the standard Sourcewell contract. The city bonded $136,400 in 2023 for this purchase. This quote is higher than our existing budget. We do have the additional 2023 bond money for other equipment purchases that cost less than the anticipated budget. Therefore, we have enough money in hand for this purchase and will not need any additional funding. This new unit is fairly standard in relation to our other mowers, and the only add-on feature specified will be the enclosed cab. So our motion, what we're looking for you guys to approve today is to approve the purchase of the Toro Groundmaster 5910 mower from Reindeers for a total cost of $154,480.87.
Questions from the committee?
No, you covered it. Sorry.
No, good.
You know, saying that we don't have to borrow any more money, that's like the key for me is, do we have the money now?
Yep.
So, thank you.
So how many mowers does it take to manage? This is for the parks mostly, or everywhere?
Yep. So how many mowers do we have total?
Yeah,
I honestly have to get back to you on that.
Oh, I don't
know
know.
off the top of my head.
just wondering how many there are.
I can definitely let you know.
I'm guessing 8 reindeer.
8 reindeer.
If you count Rudolph.
Yeah, that's 9. I was thinking that too.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Alder Eck, second by Alder Campbell to approve. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Number 4, consideration of possible action on the purchase of a T4 Bobcat skid steer loader for a total cost of $58,894.61 from Bobcat Plus.
Excuse my back and forth here. I'm just trying to set it up here.
Go through find it.
All right, this new Bobcat skid steer loader will replace Unit 219, which is a 2015 Bobcat S450. This existing unit has several hydraulic and fuel pump issues. The new unit will be primarily used by the forestry department. In addition to the standard unit with skid steer bucket, we'll also be purchasing a grapple bucket attachment to assist with lifting and moving logs. This was quoted by the purchasing department to the standard Sourcewell contract. The city bonded $67,000 in 2023 for this purchase, and it came in slightly under budget. So our motion would be to approve the purchase of the T4 Bobcat skid steer loader for a total cost of $58,894.61 from Bobcat Plus Incorporated.
Thanks. Everybody loved to hear under budget. Any
Yes.
questions? Any motions?
Nope.
Make a motion to
Approve.
approve.
Oh,
Motion by Alder Steuer to approve. Is there a second? Do we hear a
Well-
second?
Second.
Alder Campbell, we have a second. All right, any discussion? Those in favor?
I
That motion carries.
figured since they were both trying to approve it, I figured it. But you get this.
Director's report, updates.
So I mean, if you have any questions on the director's report, otherwise I want to make sure I invite you all to the Thrill on the Hill this Friday. We're doing a giant slip and slide event with the Green Bay Metro Fire Department, and the school district's coming out serving snacks, and we'll have a DJ on hand. And we're trying to, it's a $2 donation suggested, and we're trying to raise money for the hill this winter, so to enhance any features of the hill with the
Awesome.
snowmaking.
With our new snowmaker, yay.
Yep.
I have a question. Sorry, did you have something?
Yeah.
Alder Campbell, then Alder Eck.
My son, grew up out on that hill along with all of us. And he used to slide down it in the mud, He said it's pretty rough. He was like, that sounds like an accident waiting to happen. I saw the comments online, and there was quite a few people that were worried about the liability of it all. He asked if they were gonna be on the inner tubes, maybe that might be safer.
No, they'll be on their own free will. So we've done this 5 years ago.
Yeah,
We used to do a mud run, and then at the end of the mud run, we had this giant slip and slide that went down into a big mud pit, essentially. And it went really well that year, and we have Metro Fire Department is gonna be right out there, so if anybody would happen to get an injury, they're gonna be out there to help out. And we're looking forward to a very safe and fun event.
this should be interesting.
Thanks, Alder Campbell. Alder Rick?
And I'm trying to quick skim through to see in case you answered it already. I just wanted to get an update on the Porlier Pier. Is that gone? Did it get taken down?
No, it's still blocked off currently.
Because okay, I thought it would be down by now, that's why I thought.
No, we have not officially approved taking down the pier. It's all in the process. We're talking about it right now and kind of how that would work, but no, it hasn't been taken down and there has been no approvals to take it down yet.
We approved it at council.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, it came
Maybe.
back to us. We approved it without the whole additional, it was like a separate, because it was brought up to, let's plan for a new pier.
Yep.
But we said, well, let's vote on it separate from that and vote to remove it.
I remember that too.
Yeah.
Okay,
we did.
and-
Yeah, I'm not recalling it, so.
And I
Yeah.
don't remember either if it was approved. It sounds like it was. I think what we still are working on, and I know what we're still working on, and you'll probably see soon with the CIP is, what are we gonna put there instead? Are we putting something back, and if so, what is that? And
That's why we separated it out, saying we could talk about that later, but
sure,
Like, what's the safety
and
concern?
part of the reason it hasn't been removed yet is because it would be nice to perhaps use the removal of the pier as a match to a grant to install something new. So if we go ahead and remove the pier, we don't have that as kind of match to put towards a grant. And so the hope is that, that we can do it that way. And so that's why we haven't necessarily pursued a really quick removal, so to speak.
okay. I just thought it was a safety issue. Well, we were supposed to, we wanted it before
Yeah.
winter.
We can get back to you on that.
Okay.
I was thinking more about the approval of putting it in. I wasn't thinking about taking it out, but I'm not.
Right.
Yeah, if you could.
So is someone working on the grants, like Melissa, she's always good to find all that stuff.
So,
I
It's
don't
at
know,
the top
she's the one
of,
who wanted
or
that.
not the top, but it's high on our priority list, I
Okay.
should say.
I just got one other thing that was brought to my attention. The old, very, very popular Joanne's Skate Park is really in dire need of some repair, from what I understand. It's like the kids are trying to fix it themselves. Like, my son grew up there, and he was a little daredevil, but, you know, a lot of people use it. People came in from all over the state to go there, and he said it's just gone right to crap. And he says a lot of hangout problems are happening there, and kids are just using it for hangout. So I'd like to see that brought up and looked at a little bit.
We did just bond to engineer for improvements for that skate park, and
Good.
and the CIP, I forget which year, it might be 25, I think. We're looking to maybe implement that then, so we are thinking about it.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything for Colburn?
I believe the walk is going in fairly soon.
All right, good. See.
Oh, yeah, the walk.
That's good, from the parking lot down, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I have
Awesome news.
I have like 4 parks in my district, so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't
Nobody cares
bring them
about
up every time.
Any other questions?
Make sure
Anybody
you
else?
guys get out to the pools. You know, it's the
Yeah.
last weekend for
Yeah.
Colburn and Joanne's, and then Resch will be closed next Thursday. So it's kind of course, now it's gonna be 90 degrees.
Yeah,
That's
perfect.
usually what happens when we start closing
Close
down
it
the pools.
down.
Yep.
All right, any other questions?
Could I, all the words?
Sorry, too late,
All right.
Destroyer. No, go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Director, or James, this is the first summer that I haven't had any complaints on the swimming area at Resch. Normally I get called, normally it's about parking on the street, more of an enforcement issue, but I was very pleased for that. So congratulations if you want to take some credit for that.
I'll tell the staff that they did a great job, Alder Stoyer, and I will say something that might affect you, and I can talk to you more offline about this, but the school is looking at doing a back-to-school bash at Fisk Park next Thursday. So you might have some people talking about parking that day, just to give you a heads up.
Yeah, well, I'm coming back from Oregon that day, so I don't know if I'll make it in time, but it should be, that sounds like a great event.
All right, motion to receive and place on file.
Motion to receive and place on file.
Motion by Alderich, second by Alder Campbell to receive and place on file. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Our next meeting is September 13th.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, Alderich,
Second.
second by Alder Campbell. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. We're adjourned.
Alder Wery, quick question.
Sure.
Our next meeting, does it start at 6 exactly, or?
Is it follow? I think it's just following, so 5-10 minutes.